us continue our progressive reading of Evangelii Gaudium, the Joy of the Gospel, by Pope Francis. Chapter 2. The delightful and comforting joy of evangelizing. Paragraph 9. Goodness always tends to spread. Every authentic experience of truth and goodness seeks by its very nature to grow within us, and any person who has experienced a profound liberation becomes more sensitive to the needs of others. As it expands, goodness takes root and develops. If we wish to lead a dignified and fulfilling life, we have to reach out to others and seek their good. In this sense, several sayings of St. Paul will not surprise us. The love of Christ urges us on. Second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 5, verse 14. Or, woe to me if I do not proclaim the gospel. 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 16. Through our readings in this season, we have arrived to this very important point, that in Advent, when we leave behind the hustle and bustle of the city, in this solitude of Advent, quietness of Advent, we have an experience of God's goodness taking root in us. The nature of goodness is always tends to spread. And in fact, this is the medication for the melodies of our world. Unstoppable wars, unresolvable conflicts, unfulfilled human life. Experiencing God's goodness in ourselves and in others. But most of all, when we really go quiet in our prayers in Advent, first of all we experience God's goodness. In the Eucharistic Adoration, when in the monstrance we just see the host, this goodness of God pulsates, creates waves in us, to which we respond, taking over that frequency of goodness, as it were. I heard an interesting theory. I think it's quite a Gnostic, very rational explanation, a simplification of things. A biologist came up with the theory that the reason that there is an unstoppable violence in the world, that we cannot handle our conflicts, and the human race is increasingly more and more aggressive, its main reason is that we lost the experience of motherly nurturing. And he mentions a species of apes in the Congo basin, that these apes are famous for their family relations. They really attend their babies, and this tribe of apes is very altruistic, very helpful. They are welcoming others and each other. And in his theory, and there's a point in it, that though from the mother's point of view, nurturing a baby is a selfish act, but the baby on the receiving end, the baby's experience is that it's a totally unselfish act, it's pure goodness. So as it were in us humans, an original goodness is imprinted by our mothers, by good nurturing, by good motherhood. Of course, it's not a sufficient explanation, but because how our good mothers are, the world, our culture can override that goodness, those basics of morality and our selfishness and tolerance which we internalized from our mothers. But the point is really worth taking up in Advent. Because in the Advent season, as it were, we experience God's mothering us, God's nurturing us with His irreplaceable, very unique love. Goodness always tends to spread. That's why if we followed our meditations in the Advent season, we can really understand how important it is to engage with God, to spend prime time with Him. That our transformation, what is missing from us, our transformation can take place in this healing medium when we are together with God. And when goodness spreads in us, then we can see clearly what's going on because of us in the world. So on the feast of Our Lady of Gaudalupe, let us ask the Holy Mother of God to prompt us to pray with her, to pray with her help, to receive through her God's own nurturing, loving, mothering care for us.